As the title suggests, I wanted to see exactly how Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC runs on an old laptop. It's a Lenovo Y50, about 5 years old. I bought it in 2015. Um, I did replace the SSD, and it does have 4 gigs of VRAM and 16 gigs of DDR3. But as you can see here, just from the opening optimization screen, not a great start. This is minutes. This is minutes. 43 minutes after it starts, and it finally gets into the title screen. Yeah, 43 minutes it took to actually optimize itself. And as you can tell, it's actually at the wrong aspect ratio. It did it at 1280 by 1024, and then it crashed. So once I rebooted the game, it thankfully didn't have to go through that long optimization again, and I could go right into the menu. Now for the capture here, I actually went into borderless full screen mode, because if I go into full screen mode, I found that I get this weird ghosting effect. So unfortunately in this game, it has been found that borderless full screen mode actually does hurt your performance. So if you are using this as some sort of tweaking guide, you want to definitely run an exclusive full screen. That would be to just change the display mode to full screen there at 60 hertz or whatever your refresh rate is, and then go from there. As always, I start with the highest possible settings at 1080p, and this is what we get. As you can see, it's not really even close to playable. It's actually closer to a slideshow than it is to an actual playable experience. So from there, we want to go into the menu, and obviously we're going to drop some settings. Now, the cool thing is you have this original preset, which is actually what the PS4 was set to in its original form. And I like to change the to TAA because it gives a lot cleaner image with all of the foliage, on everything. So if you have it on FXAA or SMAA, it's going to leave a lot of shimmering with the trees and the grass and all that stuff. So I would definitely recommend leaving it on TAA if at all possible. Again, there's other presets as well, but like this is what I would basically use as a baseline, because I don't think we're going to get much better. We're not going to get acceptable performance on higher settings than what was on the console. So as you can see, using those settings here at 1080p, you're going to get a little closer to 30, but still not even really in the playability realm. Although we did gain about 33-ish%. We gained about 4 to 5 frames per second, which isn't much, but like I said, percentage-wise, it's actually a pretty big deal. So you go back into the menu here. We're going to go through all these settings. First thing we're probably going to want to do is drop the resolution. Now, because I'm running in borderless full screen mode, I can't drop the resolution. Otherwise, it'll basically put it in a window. So I'm going to actually use this resolution scaler here, the render scale option, and drop that down. Let's try it inch by inch if we can. Let's do 90% first. So we go to 90%, go back into the game. And you can see we're up to 20, 21, 22, something like that. And it's a little, again, closer to 30, but still not where we want it. So we go back in there. Let's drop it some more. I like to do 10% at a time, but that could be a little, I don't know. If you're impatient, you probably want to speed that up a little bit. Unfortunately, it's still not playable, as you can see. It's getting a little better, I guess, but still nowhere near what we really want it to be. So, and this is just one section of the game where it's not, there's no enemies on screen or anything right now, obviously. So it's going to be even more taxing when that happens. When you get in battle, for example, which is the crux of the gameplay, you definitely want to have a smooth 30-ish frames per second, and you don't want it to drop much below that, if at all, because that will lead to frustration, that will lead to input lag, it'll lead to just a nasty experience overall. So we're going to go back into the menu here, drop the resolution a little bit further, and see if that affects it at all. Yeah, we're a little closer to 30. Now we're getting toward the mid-20s. This is the cinematic frame rate, 24, 25-ish area. It's the cinematic frame rate, and it's the PAL frame rate, 25 frames per second from back in the day. But yeah, this is still not where we want to be, obviously, but we're getting a lot closer to where we want to be compared to where we were when we first started. We've already gained about 10 to, at times, 15 frames per second, which is basically doubling our performance at times. But we're still, again, not quite where we want to be. So we go back into the menu here, drop the resolution down to 60 just to see if that helps anymore. it's really not doing much now because I don't think there's much that's constraining us as far as the GPU at this point. So if we go down to 50%, unfortunately, this is 960 by 540 resolution, since you're going to be half of 1080p on both axes at 50%. One of the main things you can do, though, is to change the texture resolution up to high, and hopefully that'll alleviate a little bit of the shimmering. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't alleviate any shimmering at all. You're just going to have a nasty mess of just pixel crawling everywhere if you leave it at 50%. So I went back up to 70% here. I like textures at high because it doesn't really affect performance at all. And always leave it at TAA. And everything else at medium, you can drop some of that down to low if you want, which is actually not a bad idea. You can drop shadows down to low. You can actually turn them off, which is probably not something you want to do. Drastically changes the look of the game. But you can change that. Reflections. Clouds does not go below medium, unfortunately. But let's try these settings. You can move up anisotropic filtering to ultra. Actually, I don't even think that works correctly from what I understand. But you can force anisotropic filtering through the drivers at 16x, which I'm doing here. And as you can see, now that we dropped a couple settings to low, it's actually a lot more playable now. It's really, really close to that 30 FPS mark. Unfortunately, you're not going to get a whole lot better performance out of this game on such old hardware, either because the port itself just isn't great, or obviously because the hardware just isn't up to snuff. But it is Horizon Zero Dawn on a laptop, and it's portable, and that's really all you can ask for. You know, bump everything down to low if you need to. You can turn off ambient occlusion, and this is about as good as it'll get, unfortunately. I have it on 70% resolution here. You can drop it further to 50%, which is what I'm going to do now. And, you know, this is really, really, really ugly. But, again, we're at the 30 FPS threshold largely. I would say it's dropping below now, but, okay. So it's dropping way below at times still. It's still dropping to like low 20s at times. But for the most part, I found that it was a playable experience. I'm not sure that I would actually want to experience the game like this. But again, if you've never played the game before, you don't have a PS4, you can't bring a PS4 with you on the road. You don't want to. This is something that could possibly tide you over in a tough spot. And you really want to get that experience with Aloy and all the machines that she's going to destroy, and vice versa. She's going to get her butt kicked as well. You know, go ahead, plug it in. What's your alternative, right? Bring a capture card with you to plug in, as well as a PlayStation 4. You're going to plug a PlayStation 4 in with your laptop next to you or one of those portable monitors and play that in the middle of an airport. I don't really think that's feasible, but, you know, I'm sure someone's done it before. I remember the old footage of someone with a Wii U that they brought with them, and they just kind of plugged the Wii U console into the wall and were playing on the tablet. That's a little weird to me, but hey, you know what? Different strokes. If you like doing that, that's cool, but this is your other option for portable Horizon Zero Dawn. Again, kind of a useless little tweaking video, but it's interesting to take a look at something that's running on hardware that it was never intended to. Even if the port is a little shoddy, it's still portable Horizon Zero Dawn. So there you go. If you like this video, let me know. Leave a comment below. If you hated it, that's cool too. Thumbs down if you didn't. Thumbs up if you did. Please consider at least subscribing to this channel and hitting the bell notification icon so that it lets you know when another one of these types of video goes up. I'm going to do more of these in the future because I always find it fascinating to look at this type of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And until next time, I guess I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.